feel free to keep sending those questions. We'll still be answering them until we recover Argus. I think we might get some time to explore American Samoa a little bit.
Oh, was that a question?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
More of a statement, I guess.
Yeah, I think we're going, there's a group planning like a dinner.
I saw that. I signed up.
Awesome, so did I.
I think it was the, I was looking up places, top things to do. It was the Goat something. Goat Island Cafe.
Oh, interesting. I'm like kind of considering plonking down somewhere with a strong Wi-Fi connection.
To do what?
Message friends. Also, there's that monthly event I was telling you about in one of the games I play.
You're in American Samoa. We're gonna explore, Peyton.
All right.
We'll grab a cab or walk around or do whatever.
If you have any plans, then I might just tag along with you.
I don't, but doesn't mean we can't make some.
All right.
We'll see what the plan is when we get into ports.
There's a National Park of American Samoa, U.S. National Park.
Yeah?
Ooh.
Are you going, Rennie?
I'll be going, yeah, at some point. But if you're into going to national parks, it's one of the most difficult ones to check off the box because it's so remote.
Nice.
So.
Is there, what type of things is there to explore there?
The coast.
The coast?
Mountains.
Mountains.
Yeah.
Nice. That might be worth checking out.
Yeah. Again, I don't really have any concrete plans. And for folks at home, so this is the last day of the search for the Samoan Clipper, and so we're going to have about 2 days in port before we head back out, or just over a day, and then we're heading back out. Is today Saturday or Friday?
Friday.
Okay, Friday.
Oh, no, Saturday.
Because it's morning, yeah.
Yep, it's 2:30 in the morning Saturday.
Right, so Sunday morning, I believe we're heading back out, and we'll be in transit. But for right now, we're sort of swapping out our science teams. We're getting folks on board for the American Samoa National Marine Sanctuary. I think I got those two backwards. National Marine Sanctuary of American Samoa. And we're offloading all the folks from Airsea Heritage and Search Inc. who are with us for the search for the Samoan Clipper. They will be missed a lot because they're great.
A little pop-up ad that popped up. The Samoan fruit bat. Colorful kingfisher bird.
And then Brian, exciting news, the aquarium did actually submit a request for a ship-to-shore interaction.
Awesome. Did they say when?
I think they had 2 dates they requested, but I don't think they've gotten, because they just sent it like yesterday.
Well, when it goes into the calendar, I'll be able to see and tell you.
Yep.
I'm assuming they requested you on
Yeah,
it,
I told them to. Yeah, we also do ship-to-shore interactions, folks. So for classrooms and educators around the country, they can actually request to have us be live streamed with them and just talk about what we're doing on board. What's been your favorite ship-to-shore interaction so far, Brian?
Ever or no?
During this leg.
I think talking to the Cradle of Aviation was pretty awesome. That was pretty cool to be able to connect. Next Friday, I'm actually going to be able to talk with my daughter's school.
Oh, wow.
So
Do they have a summer program?
No, Autumn is 3.5 and Taylor's 1. So
Gotcha.
they're at school year round.
Did they request you specifically?
Yeah, I told them to sign up for an interaction. So I'll be pretty much the only way I'll be able to see them.
Aww.
So we can't do video calls from the ship.
That'll be very sweet.
That'll be nice. Autumn's 3, and obviously Taylor is she's 1 and doesn't understand things at the same level as her older sister. But Autumn is still only 3.5, so she only somewhat understands what her dad is doing right now. We tried to watch some Nautilus Live and some of the previous expeditions before we came out, or before I came out, so she could see, and Daddy was telling her that he was going to go exploring.
Do you think she got it towards the end, or wasn't quite sure?
I try to take her, sometimes when I have a day off, we tend to do some daddy-daughter days, so I'll take Taylor and we'll have one-on-one time, and I'll take Autumn, have some one-on-one time, and we try to go different places, and I always tell her we're going to go explore places, go places we haven't seen before to have fun and see what the world has to offer. So she generally has that understanding of exploration. Not quite to this scale, but
That's really sweet.
question coming in about what's in the wooden crate on deck, and can't really say because don't really know.
We could ask the other folks in the control van.
There's
Spares.
spares.
Oh. Thanks for
We're out in
not.
the middle of nowhere.
Is it spares for Argus and Hercules, or?
It's general.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Oh, that's a good question about AUVs. What are some of the pros and cons of using a wired versus wireless system? I guess
Well, with a wired system, you can get data, you can control it and get data live. With a wireless system like an AUV, you would pre-program it, and you won't get the data until after it surfaces and you get it on deck and download it. Those are some generals. I mean, I could go into more.
Well, we have an hour and 15 minutes, Professor.
Yeah, an AUV, I mean, AUVs can have less staffing requirements. But typically it's more expensive in general, just because it's a lot of tech, a lot of specialized people. It totally depends on the unit.
Would you say there are more points of failure for an ROV or an AUV?
Points of failure. Anytime you put something over the side that isn't attached to the boat, it's going to be hard. You're risking not getting it back. So if you look at the lifetime of an AUV, the chances of at some point it not coming back historically are, yeah, it won't. There will be one time where you don't get it back.
Yeah. And also with an ROV, you can more directly keep tabs on it, right? You're seeing through its cameras, you have control of its manipulators, versus like with an AUV, it's kind of on its own.
Yeah, when you can be tracking. You know, it can have a USBL on it, beacon on it, so you're talking to it. You know where it is, or you know it's within range for communications. But
it's always my fear when I fly my drone over the ocean. One of those times it may not come back.
Right. So if our vehicles go dead, if something bad happens, we reel it in. It'll come back.
Yeah. Simple yet effective.
Yeah. Yeah. But you can, in general, cover more ground untethered. So if you have it's for the use cases. I mean, for AUVs, it's like, okay, you want to do some high-res multi-beam mapping. You're going to be close to the seafloor, and you have a survey pattern. That's something that's easily programmable, and it can keep its, you know, altitude. It has usually like a avoidance scanning sonar on the front and a altitude. You know, it knows how far off the bottom it is. So with those parameters, it can do a pretty good job of a survey pattern. But you're not seeing it live, so it's not like, oh, there's something interesting, let's look at that. Nope. So.
Gotcha.
But for the most part, for what it's used for is you go down, get a high-res base map of a small area, and then go down and explore that area. It's great. And AUVs can have side scan, multi-beam on them. Can have yeah, I'd say those are the two primary uses of it: side scan sonar and multi-beam. Can have a camera, of course, as well. Other sensors, but as far as data collection, those are the most useful.
Good morning to you, viewer from Iowa. Recap of the mission: we've reached the end of our search for the Samoan Clipper. At this time, the search will continue on with the work the Air and Sea Heritage Foundation and their team does. But as far as what we're currently searching and doing side scan sonar, that operation has ceased, and we are currently in the process of bringing up Argus so we can recover Argus on deck. And from there we will be in port in Pongo for about a day and a half, and then continue on to the National Marine Sanctuary of American Samoa. We'll be doing quite a bit of work, both studying the geology and biology of the organisms in the National Marine Sanctuary. We'll be doing that for a week and a half, I believe.
Next cruise?
Yeah, or 2 weeks?
2.5.
2.5.
I think. 2 to 2.5.
Because we get back in port on the 5th, I want to say.
Yeah. 2, right?
About 2 weeks, yeah.
Yes. About 2 weeks. Looks like, Rennie, are we within walking distance of the national park?
No. I think where
It
the
looks like-
trailheads are, I mean, yes, but it's a steep slope, so I think where the trails are,
Yeah.
you'll want to get a cab or maybe there's like a bus that.
Well, it says the Mount Alava Adventure Trail is closed.
There's a visitor center that's probably walking distance, but might not be. But it's right in the main drag of town, so I
Yeah.
might stop by there first and
There's
say
the
we have X amount of hours. Where should I go?
Saga Togo Market that looks like worth checking out. And it looks like it's...
Is that walking distance, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, there's Sadie's Hotel.
Yep, been there.
And
Mark
isn't
said
that...
there's like a Costco close.
That's a drive.
Is it a drive?
It's not Costco. It's like
Like a similar.
costs you less.
Yeah, there's a Don't Drink the Water cafe. So where's the beach? Is that on the other side? In Fagasa?
There's beaches all over the island. I don't know where the best one,
Well,
the closest or.
oh, the national park one. But that's national park is significant part of the
It is.
mountain. Vatia Village. Are you just gonna go hiking, or are you gonna check out the water, or all of the above?
Don't know. I only have a half day, so
Yeah.
just a hike with some views.
The final time down for this mission, or this dive, was it's about 124 hours.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's including, if that's just bottom time or.
I think that we included ascent and descent. As far as any site being worth a second look, you know, that's up to the science team. I think the general impression was that if we had more time right now, we would have continued to expand that search area. So I'm sure that's something that they're going to review the data and look at continuing to do in the future as they continue their search for the smoke clipper. Yeah, it looks like the entrance to the national park is right in the end of the bay. We don't have any plans to explore any other wreckages in the area. Our mission next is the explore the National Marine Sanctuary of American Samoa. And then we'll be doing that for 2 weeks, and then we'll actually start working our way back towards Hawaii and the California coast. They do weather sondes twice a day. The National Marine Sanctuary is towards a different location, but it is not generally where the Samoan Clipper was thought to be, but I mean, technically you never know. But it's not expected to be in that area. Excuse me.
so close. I know. Stuff's gonna look gigantic.
Actually have a reason to even take crabs.
No. Like the Ursa and the Ursa Mini. Not that big stuff is all good, but there's always some fatal flaw in it. Some setting that but for what they charge, I get it.
Continue to send any questions you might have. But again, we are just recovering, or excuse me, we're having Argus ascend for recovery. Argus will reach the surface in about less than an hour or so. We'll be answering questions until then. This section of our expedition to American Samoa has ended. So we have completed what we can during the time we have to try to find the Samoan Clipper. Even though we did not find it, as Russ Matthews said from the Air and Sea Heritage Foundation, the search will continue, and they will continue to do work and plan future expeditions to possibly find the plane. And next week we'll actually be traveling to the Marine Sanctuary, so the National Marine Sanctuary of American Samoa. And we'll be doing some work exploring the geology and biology of the Marine Sanctuary. You'll see more of a typical Argus Hercules dive than that you're used to seeing.
What are the chances that I could find an art store that sells microns in American Samoa?
I don't know what
Minimal.
a micron is.
I would say minimal.
But yeah, you're not going to be betting 1,000 on it.
Dang. They're just like pretty, not like super nice, but like generic inking pens that I use. Actually, wait, I could use my...
It looks like we're pretty close to the Faga Togo market. They might have some other interesting things there.
That's a good idea. But yeah, probably not gonna have art supplies. I'll be fine.
Yeah, no, that's more of a town social center that has food stalls, food, live music sometimes, souvenirs, locally made crafts, clothes, etc.
I am very down for food.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll be eating some breakfast and then we'll see what the day holds from there.
Breakfast on the ship?
Yeah, I mean, breakfast is at 7:30.
Yep.
So we're still, we won't be in port by then. So life on the ship, that's a great question. It's pretty nice. I mean, we have our watches, so we both have, everyone has 2 4-hour watches a day. They're breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's cookies at 3, some type of snack right around then. The food is great. There's a gym / little workout area. With
There's
laundry.
sleeping quarters.
Yeah, sleeping quarters,
Yeah,
bathrooms.
me and Brian are sharing the 4-person room, which is
Yep.
called the quad. There's 2 of them on board. But there's also some nicer rooms called staterooms. Hopefully one day we'll work our way up to those.
It's comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, you're in close quarters working with people all the time. You can't, when you're on the ship, Peyton can't really run away from me and vice versa. We're still going to be on the boat. So, you know, it's nice quarters and everybody gets along, and we're all pretty focused on what we do. You don't go on the Nautilus and not care about ocean and ocean exploration and archaeology and have a high interest in exploration. So it's nice to have that strong common thread between everyone, and that does a lot towards keeping life on the ship pretty harmonious. Peyton, you have a recommendation for someone named Leslie that you should check out multi-liners or Sharpie pens. Said that pens are a solid option in a pinch.
Yeah, I do really like Microns because their lines are thinner than Sharpies, but for sure, like, I've used Sharpies a lot in the past because I do watercolor with my inks, so I need stuff that's either alcohol-based or pigment-based so it doesn't bleed.
To the point where I say yes.
But yeah, I actually realized I'm currently like trying to shade something in with just like solid ink, and I realized I had something in the back, so.
Never know what you find.
Yeah.
But
probably food.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, I thought I was referring to the market, but yes.
Oh no, yeah, I mean there is food. You just gotta. I'm not sure if it's the same as Samoa, if the water is acceptable to.
I've heard there's like places you can go and fill up, and it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm dying to buy some like
bottled water.
Gallons of water.
Yeah.
Are you just gonna buy like a bunch to last through this next expedition?
Yeah, I mean at least as much as I can actually carry is my goal.
Oh wow.
Like, so we can't walk to this place, right? We have to.
The marketplace?
Yeah.
It looks like it's super close.
Oh really?
So I don't know if you can't. Well, you can't see my screen, but so if memory serves me correct, this is.
Oh wait, I can pull it up. I think. Hold on. You're on.
I have no idea.
Okay, cool.
So right here where my mouse is I'm pretty sure this is where we were in port.
This is not it. Never mind. Yeah.
And it says that marketplace is right there.
Oh, then we walked past it the other day.
Yeah.
What day is it? It's not going to be a weekend, is it?
It's Saturday.
Today's Saturday.
Today's Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not Sunday. I think
No,
it's Sunday.
yeah, it's early Saturday morning.
All right, so tomorrow, later tomorrow, I think I'm going to try to do that. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, further down, there's some type of store. Can't tell. A supermarket. That's hardly much further.
Awesome.
Supermarket K, it says. I'm trying to grab some souvenirs for the little ones.
When are you getting off, Brian?
August 5th.
Oh, okay. So you still got a
I
couple.
start flying out the 6th. I need
How
to
long are you
find.
saying summer?
Till August 26th.
Oh, okay.
Solid month and some change.
Sorry, I interrupted you, Brian. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just saying I need to try and find an extra, like a bag. So I'm on the way back check.
Yes.
That way I can get some souvenirs to bring to the kids. Can't be gone this long. And
Yeah, that is wise. Yeah, it's free to check international. Yeah, I'm sure they'll have some kind of vessel you can.
Yeah. Something.
In bag form. Yeah.
daughter was apparently, or eldest daughter was apparently asking my wife, when's Daddy coming back to bring me something?
Ooh.
Yeah, my dad used to do that. He was travel for work, and he'd bring me some
Yeah,
stuff, knickknacks, and I still have some of it. So memories.
for sure.
And it's cool when you go to some really crazy foreign place that you're probably
Yeah,
never going to go back to in a while, if ever. You always remember, oh yeah, this came from that place.
for sure. You've been all over with your work.
I have been many places.
Gotta have a big old wall of souvenirs. I tried to pick up a license plate just because I always felt like finding like authentic things was hard. I first went on a cruise on my honeymoon, and then we saw all these things that we thought were like locally made, and then it turns out they were 100% not.
Sticker says made in China on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that in a lot of places. Try to pawn it off. So locally made, locally crafted, painted, and you're like, you didn't even take the sticker off.
Yeah.
You could at least try. Hopefully here they have some cool, real locally made
Well, that's what
Polynesian stuff.
that market was supposed to be.
I wonder what its hours are.
It just seems like it's kind of a random people like pop up type thing. Question about how we have such a wonderful connection. We have a nice satellite dish on the ship, and it is what allows us to stream everything we do to you.
It is large. You can fit a human,
yes.
maybe two inside of it, to give you a reference.
And then when we're not in the control van, we have internet access on our devices, and we can do audio-only calls home and do work. Well, I've been getting some work done. You can surf the web, just not stream any videos. We're not all watching Netflix or anything like that.
Yes, the power of telemetry is amazing.
It is.
And fiber optics still blow my mind. It's a very cool technology that we use to transfer the telemetry at the speed of light, and it's getting to you via satellites. Just, I think, maybe 1 second behind us. There's some delay, but it's super minimal, and it's very impressive technology.
So Brian, a while ago you were talking about wanting to set up an aquarium, right?
Yes.
What were your original plans for that?
I originally was gonna get one of those large, like the blue crayfish things.
Ooh.
I saw them at an aquarium where I live, or not aquarium, a store where I lived, and I researched them online because I like to have unusual pets. Currently we only have a dog, but this past June we lost, we had to put down Monster the iguana.
Oh.
Yeah, she was old. Before that we had leopard gecko, Malyuromastyx, briefly a Chinese water dragon. If you ever have a reptile and you get them when they're young, it's hard to keep them alive. They can pass away very suddenly. They don't do very well with communicating illness. But I like to do something that's different and unique. So that was pretty cool. And then I saw the shrimp, which you're passionate about. That
I'm
seemed to be
very
easier.
passionate about shrimp. It's a whole can of worms.
Yeah, I'm generally looking for something that is hardy and a little bit easier to take care of, that I can involve my daughters potentially in learning about creatures firsthand and how to take care of them.
Yeah. I definitely really love shrimp as freshwater shrimp, specifically for people listening. These are going to be like Neocaridina or Caridina species, often sold as red cherry shrimp, crystal shrimp, bee shrimp, etc. Yeah, I'm a really big fan of them because they're just very interesting to watch. Like, they're always really active. They play a really neat role in the tanks as like decomposers and, or sorry, not decomposers, but yeah, sometimes decomposers, breaking down decaying organic matter, and also as like grazers, omnivores. I was actually reading a study that said that shrimp, they put shrimp from a local river in buckets, just like plain buckets that had like air bubblers in them, which is a really good testament to like how hardy they are.
Yeah.
And then put in dried cattail reeds with them. And when they had shrimp activity, like grazing on the leaves, it sped up their rate of breakdown. But even if the shrimp were physically separated from the leaves themselves, even just being in the water, they would still cause the leaves to decay at a faster rate. And they were still doing research on whether that was because of bacteria from like the shrimp feces, or if it was like nutritional balance, like nutrients being in the water that would have limited decomposition. But it was just really interesting thinking about their role as these grazers that help break down organic matter. And they also eat biofilms and sort of control what decomposers are present in the environment.
Question coming in about how long could it take if we saw if we would have seen a target to dive on, and the question is that it just kind of depends what you mean by diving on it. If we would have seen one and we would have wanted to put Hercules on, we would have had to bring Argus up, which takes about 2 hours. We would have had to attach Hercules, which would have taken 2 to 4 hours, and then get Argus back in the water and down, which probably would have taken another 2+ hours. So not something you can just kind of quick turn around and do. You can't flip the switch. You can't just throw Hercules in the water and
yeah, if we were in a lot shallower depth, it would make a difference because we wouldn't have all this Z-watch up and down of 2 hours change. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Question about keeping specimens, and we do collect living specimens. However, they don't stay that way as they come up. There's just no way to keep them in that state. We have an 80 below freezer, so they get frozen and preserved and sent to wherever they need to go.
I believe usually that's the Center for Comparative Zoology at Stanford. I might be butchering the name of it, but
I think that's if it's a new species.
new species? Okay.
Yeah.
And the rest go to New Hampshire, right?
Yes, I believe the geologic samples go one location and the biological samples go to another.
Oh, okay.
I think it also depends on the organization we may be working with, and like when I was on the Max Planck Institute was here from Germany, and those were on the front of the ship we had essentially a storage container that had been converted into a walk-in fridge/freezer for samples.
Wow.
And then things were preserved in there. Then that was sent to Germany, I believe, upon returning. So We just don't have the capability of keeping living specimens like that. But we don't take what we don't need. We're not just grabbing every single thing that we can see. Science and exploration with a purpose, a goal, a mission, and a plan. Question, excuse me, about if we didn't find any trace of the plane, and simply we just didn't find anything that we believed to be a piece or wreckage of the plane, so we did not dive Hercules down on any of them. The few targets that were most interesting to us after processing, we did actually go back last night. I think we were on them about 3 a.m. local time, and we're going to do some visual confirmation with Argus, and all of those targets turned out to be geologic features. They were large volcanic rocks. So we did not see anything that was part of the Simone Clipper at any time. So the science team recommended that we expand our search area in certain patterns, and that's exactly what we did up until about just about an hour and a half ago. What depth are we at with Argus?
865 meters.
Okay. We're getting there. I think I have a nap in my future after we get off of watch.
Oh, for sure. I want to be up in time for breakfast so I can say goodbye to all the people that are heading off the ship.
Yeah.
But I'm also really tired because it's 3:30 a.m.
Yep. You still have a few more weeks of this, sir.
Yeah. I got the dive report on, or at least, I think I told you about this.
Yeah,
So,
you said you were working on it.
yeah,
We were doing laundry.
yeah. That was also why I was like half dazed while doing laundry.
Yeah, you were pretty zonked out.
I was.
I did walk in, and I believe you were dancing to the music, though.
I was headbanging because I was like, this is the only way I can stay awake because otherwise I will faceplant into whatever.
It's alright. You were in the zone. You were in the groove.
But yeah. So at the end of every dive, the data loggers will sit down and make a summary of what happened during the dive, what samples were collected. In this case, we also are documenting like what targets we found. I think that's a siphonophore in the camera.
I don't see it.
But because this is such a long dive, I mean, this has been 124 hours and counting. Because of that, we've sort of started midway through, and then we're working on it as it was going on. And because I'm the ocean science intern, this was sort of like my first, I was sort of tasked with taking care of this first dive report. And so...
Breaking you in.
Yeah, a lot of it ended up towards the end being similar fauna and terrain observed because there wasn't a whole lot to say about it.
Yeah, I feel like there could have been a lot of copy and pasting in this one.
Yeah, it was mostly just like marking the start and end of the lines that we were following for side scan.
I got a question coming in about the plane and about whether it glided down, and it's not believed to be the case. Dr. Megan was on here, and we asked her a few times about that, and based on her experience, that never really seems to be the case. You know, if you were in like a ditching event and the plane was still intact, it might do something akin to that, but not for any great distance. But when you think about it, you have the engines, for example. The engines on these planes were about half a ton apiece, incredibly heavy, not including the propellers. That's a massive amount of weight pulling it down, and it's just not believed to have done that. In addition, the clipper isn't believed to be in one piece. It experienced some type of explosion based on reports. There's a small debris field found of a variety of objects that had some exposed to heat, while some exposed to fire and burned. And you know, we would be surprised if we would have found the plane in one piece. It's reasonable to believe that it may have broken into several pieces, at least. Oh, thanks for your concern. We're not sleepy. We're getting used to this watch. We had depending on where we came from, I think I had about 30 hours of flying to get here.
Oh boy, yeah.
So we're all getting in the groove, and we enjoy talking with you all. So please keep sending in questions. It's 3. It doesn't matter. It's 3:30. We want to talk science with you. If we talk too loud, we'll hurt each other's ears in the headsets.
Oops.
Greetings to our viewers in Austria, Denmark, Ireland, Norway, New Zealand, Germany, Finland, Netherlands, Sweden, Canada, the UK, and the good old US of A. Hey Moya, thanks for following along with us. Glad we could be relatively close to you, even though New Zealand and Samoa are still a good chunk away from each other. We did land briefly in New Zealand, and from what I could see from the airport, you have a beautiful country. One that I would like to visit again, outside of the international part of the terminal of the airport. It's okay you didn't watch the entire time, Moya. We took plenty of power naps between our watches as well. Peyton, what you drawing?
I just finished inking panels from today, and then I was about to start coloring them.
Ooh.
So I've got some of like explaining how dive reports work, and sort of like a conclusion for this expedition. Like some words from Russ Matthews, president of Air Sea Heritage Foundation, who earlier like gave this nice short speech about
That was very well said.
He was very well spoken.
Yeah.
Very well spoken. But yeah, just sort of working through that right now. Gonna try to color some of it while I'm back here.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Got a couple of questions coming in about how we do geological missions, and that just kind of entirely depends on where we are and what we're doing. So there's white papers that are submitted to Ocean Exploration Trust, and those are just kind of essentially proposals for exploration. So we do a variety of things. Earlier this season in, I believe, May, into June, early June, they were working with NASA Subsea, so they were testing out different protocol for future space missions. We have recovered methane seep, samples. We've collected rock samples, sediment samples, you name it. It just entirely depends on the expedition. We don't have a spectroscope, however, when I was on in 2015, Hercules is pretty cool, where it's modular in many ways, where you can add different things to it, and this organization had brought a mass spectrometer.
Oh, wow.
And it was essentially just a wand. I guess there was more behind it, but we would just use the predator arm to grab the little ball, and that was the wand was attached to, and we'd put it in whatever we wanted to measure and learn more about, and that was it.
What were you guys measuring?
I think we were measuring the brine pools.
Oh.
And checking out the different levels, and
Awesome.
different levels of hydrocarbons, and I think we're also checking out some of the cold seeps as well. If memory serves me correct. It was a while ago, and I am getting older. Yeah, but there's all sorts of different things. Niskin bottles can be attached to the side to sample the water columns. We have bio boxes in the front and the side. We have our collection tanks right on top. We can do quite a bit. I have a question for Rennie or Summer about what kilohertz the Edutech sonar operates at.
Sorry about that. I was offline.
That's right.
Say again?
Do you know what two frequencies the Edutech sonar was working at?
6,633
Sounds about right.
kilohertz. I think it's 66 kilohertz, I believe. I actually don't know. It's Googleable. I think it's an Edutech 4200. Sounds right.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, you can Google it, Brian. You let me know what it is.
Edutech multi-purpose survey system.
High frequency. Configuration. Oh god. Sonar ports. Trigger.